Meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock, and we'll start with the orders of the day.
Chair Magana,
Present.
Vice Chair Ramos. Commissioner Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Westphal, Commissioner Abastida,
Present.
Commissioner Gardner, Commissioner Mendoza, Commissioner Rooney,
Here.
Commissioner McCrary,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Baker,
Present.
and we have quorum.
Wonderful. Thank you all, everyone, for being here today. We'll keep it going and we'll move on to our consent calendar. As a reminder, this is the approval of our agenda for today in the minutes from April 16th. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve items 2A and B.
Wrong move.
We have a motion, Commissioner Allen. Second for Commissioner Green. Thank you. Sorry. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, all abstaining, motion passes. We'll now move on to the public record. Do we have any correspondence?
We do not.
Wonderful. We'll then move on to open forum. Do we have anyone here for open forum?
We do not.
We will then move on to our next item, which is an informational item. Really excited about this one. We will have our youth commission update. Give it up for everybody. And as a reminder for the commission, we will ask questions at the end, just in case there's public comment.
This work. Okay, great. Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. To reintroduce myself one final time, my name is Nolan Mascarenas. This is my second and final year representing District 10 on the San Jose Youth Commission. I had the pleasure of serving as Chair of the Youth Commission this past year.
And then my name is Andrew Liu. This is my fourth and final year on the Youth Commission representing District 5 of the Youth, District 5. And I also have the privilege of serving as the Vice Chair this year.
And today we proudly present our annual work plan for the fiscal year 2024 to 2020. As a reminder, the San Jose Youth Commission is the official advisory group to the mayor and city council. It empowers and encourages youth-led engagement through local and citywide initiatives and events. Our commission includes representatives from all 10 districts plus the citywide commissioner, as shown on this slide. Together, we represent approximately 248,000 youth in San Jose, working to make sure that their voices are heard in city government decision-making. Commissioners work alongside volunteer youth in their district's youth advisory councils, also known as YACs, to develop policy proposals, host events, and create initiatives to relay youth priorities to local government.
This year, the Youth Commission implemented a focused outreach plan to increase youth awareness and participations in our initiatives. Our objectives centered on increasing the number of youth who know about the Youth Commission and participate in our youth advisory councils. We use these multiple channels, including social media, school distribution lists, local libraries, community centers, council member newsletters. We also attended community events and hosted town halls and summits to directly connect with youth. Through these efforts, we've seen increased engagement across our platforms and greater participation in our district YACs and Youth Commission events and applications. The Youth Commission created and distributed an annual survey to youth throughout San Jose. This year, we collected 463 responses with a 82% completion rate. Looking at the pie chart, when we ask if they believe San Jose government reflects youth priorities, 37.7% agreed, 7.5% of that is strongly, and 29.8% of that is somewhat. This is a positive increase from last year when only 30% agreed. The percentage of youth who are neutral or unsure decreased from 51.5% to 46.1%, suggesting that youth are more active in forming opinions about local government. The graph shows how youth rank various issues, with violence and safety being the top priority at 4.27 out of 5, poverty, housing, and homelessness at 4.245 as top concerns, and then followed by educational resources, job opportunities, and mental health resources. These responses directly inform our work plan priorities and our budget advocacy efforts.
Our first major work plan objective focused on exploring and understanding gender-based violence, certain resources and services available to youth in San Jose. This committee, comprising of Commissioners Mishra, Pradeep Kumar, Bansal, Liu, and Mascarenas, worked to first collaborate with local organizations like the YWCA Silicon Valley to research and support awareness campaigns addressing sexual harassment, assault, and promoting healthy relationships. Second, we hosted events featuring community partners that provided support services for mental health safety and drug awareness education. The committee gathered community input through a survey, researched available resources, and organized a gender-based violence awareness event in April. The event featured workshops on healthy relationships and provided attendees with advocacy tools and resources. Our second objective focused on fostering environmental literacy and youth stewardship to create a more sustainable San Jose. The Environmental Advocacy Ad Hoc Committee included Commissioners Sanchez, Arroyo, Gonzalez Munoz, Singh, and Mascarenas. Our work included the Basking Ridge Park planting project in early May, building off last year's work where we planted 10 new trees. Supported the District 1 Adopted Dream storm drain event in April, organized multiple neighborhood and park cleanups in Districts 3, 4, 8, and 10. Chair Mascarenas and the District 10 YAC formally adopted Almond Lake Park for ongoing care, and the District 4 YAC hosted an eco-swap event in late April to promote clothing sustainability. These initiatives engaged youth across the city in environmental stewardship while addressing the climate concerns identified in our survey.
Our third objective was to evaluate and study career and college pathways and literacy opportunities in San Jose. The Career and Higher Education Ad Hoc Committee, led by Commissioners Kudreski, Pradeep Kumar, Arroyo, Vu, and myself, focused on receiving reports on college and career pathway programs, including resilience, core learning pathways, San Jose Works job initiatives, and various team programmings. The committee explored partnerships with San Jose Public Library investigating supporting schools through library resources and conducting a youth participatory budget priority study session to gather youth input and priorities related to children and career development. This work directly addressed the educational resources and job opportunities concerns that ranked highly in our survey as well. Our fourth initiative was to establish a San Jose Youth Commission Innovation Committee to give young people a platform to tackle civic challenges. The primary goals of this committee included involving youth in the city decision-making process, building partnerships with school, city departments, and industry stakeholders, hosting an innovation pitch conference to showcase youth-led issues. While still in development, the committee has made progress in engaging stakeholders and structuring its operations to support young people designing innovative solutions to addressing community issues, including homelessness, creek cleanups, and pedestrian safety. The Youth Advisory Councils, or YAC, form the foundation of our engagement across the city of San Jose from June 2024 to April 2025. The Youth Commission and YAC members combined a volunteer service hours of 1,085 service hours. So it's very big. Our 11 youth commissioners average 51 hours each on activities such as attending meetings, coordinating activities, conducting community outreach, and developing policy recommendations. And while it only makes up a small portion of our greater population, 41 YAC members across San Jose volunteered an average of about 13 volunteer hours each, attending YAC meetings, supporting district events, conducting policy research. These volunteers help ensure that youth perspectives are represented in communities throughout the city.
This year, we established an online application to streamline YAC recruitment, and since August 2024, we have received 235 applications. We found that 64.5% of applicants applied to serve in their home districts, showing strong community connections. Another 20.1% applied outside their districts, likely due to school location or specific interest in another area's initiatives. Most encouragingly, 97% of participants rated their YAC experience as a 4 or 5 out of 5. And when asked if they would recommend the program to others, an overwhelming majority gave it the highest rating. This feedback confirms we're providing valuable and meaningful experiences for youth across the city. In addition to our work plan initiatives, the Youth Commission also participated in a joint meeting with the Library and Education Commission to review the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. We also hosted the District 7 Creative Futures Fair, bringing together 34 youth-led businesses, 30 student musicians, and 60 high school volunteers. And we also organized community events, including the Youth Budget Summit, park cleanups, an EcoSwap event in District 4, clothing and food drives, a youth voters summit in District 1, and educational workshops. These activities demonstrate our commitment to empowering youth and creating opportunities for meaningful engagement across San Jose. And looking forward, the Youth Commission plans to continue building on this year's success, enhancing civic engagement, and ensuring youth voices are included in city decision-making processes. As 8 of our senior commissioners graduate and move on to college and other opportunities, we anticipate welcoming new youth leaders who will bring fresh perspectives and energy to our ongoing initiatives. For more information about our work or to connect with us, please visit our website at www.sjpl/youthcommission or just email us at youthcommission@sanjoseca.gov. On behalf of the entire Youth Commission, thank you for your support of civic engagement in our city. This concludes our presentation. We're available for questions, and thank you.
Mic drop, give it up. Before we get into questions or comments, any public comment on this?
We do not.
All right, we'll open up to our commission. So Commissioner Rooney.
This one work?
Yeah.
I am so impressed by you. Given the condition that this country faces tonight, I'm not sure I want to turn on the radio tomorrow morning. But as long as I know you are the people that are going to take over from old guys like me, I have much more confidence than I have had before. I was so impressed by this publication that got in the mail the other day. Somebody put a lot of work in there, a lot of dedication, and I can't tell you how much I admire you gentlemen and everybody else who's working with you. On behalf of this body and the city of San Jose, thank you very much.
Other commissioners? Commissioner Brown.
Both of you are, am I on? Okay, there we go. Since both of you are moving on, I'm wondering if you would be open to sharing, first of all, and reflecting back on your experience, what the highlight was for you, and then if you would share with us where you're continuing on to next.
All right. Okay, I'll go first. I'd say the highlight of my experience, so I've been here for 2 years, but I've been involved with the YACs that were mentioned earlier for 4 years. So I entered as a freshman and I've been a part of it throughout my high school journey. It's definitely the people that you get to meet. If it wasn't for Youth Commission, if it wasn't for the YAC, I don't think I would have gotten as involved in my community as I did. And so to learn about, I live in District 10, so it's a 15-minute drive all the way across. And so each pocket of those 15 minutes are different. They're different people, different lived experiences from different ages. And so you get to meet a lot of different people from these lived experiences that are different to yours. And so you sort of broaden your perspective. You get to learn about different cultures, different people that come from different areas. And so, you also get to work with such amazing commissioners and YAC members that you get to learn from. And so for me, it's definitely the people that you meet, whether you're working with them or you just meet them at an event. I've also interned in my council office, and so I've gotten to meet a lot of people through there and been involved in policy there. So I think it's really the people aspect of what we do and the impact that we have, and to see it tangibly impact youth in our area. I think that's the biggest highlight. And not in a modest way, but I will be going to Stanford.
I agree with everything Nolan said. I think, if there's anything, you're getting the opportunity to talk to Jill and all these really cool people. It's certainly one of the highlights of the job, but at the end of the day, it's really the people, right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna embarrass her a little bit, Ophelia over there. I got started, in a library volunteering homework club. I had no idea, I was a seventh grader and I was tutoring high schoolers who did calculus and I had no idea what was going on. I tried my best. But she remembers me when I was, a middle schooler and seeing the evolution and being able to be in that type of circle where, it comes around. And here is my, one of my last official things that I get to do as a youth commissioner to see her here. Not me, is a great thing. I hope not only because of me, probably not. But yeah, that's amazing. And then I'll be headed off to Iowa to go to a liberal arts college called Grinnell. So.
Other questions or comments from the commission? You all said this, you said as a reminder, and it triggered my thoughts of, this is a reminder for us of why this work is so important, to make sure that all our kiddos have access to resources to do the types of things that you all are doing. The amount of service that y'all are talking about, that's unbelievable. It's incredible. And I think, I hope my kids are like y'all when they grow up. They're 6 and 4, and I'm just here and I'm like, goals, as you're saying these things. So thank you for what you do, and on behalf of the commission too, send it back to your commission. Thank you all for everything that they're doing as well for the city of San Jose.
Got a great role model, so I'm sure that'll be great.
Thank you. Let's give it up. One more time. Wonderful, wonderful. Another great presentation coming up. As a reminder, folks, that is an informational item, so it does not require any action. What we will be doing now is moving on to our next item, which is our adult literacy programming.
Good evening, commissioners. Tonight we are going to hear from 2 of our very wonderful staff who will lead us through the system-wide adult literacy programming that is led under Vidya Colombi's leadership.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Vidya Kanambi, Division Manager of Education and Learning Pathways. Today, I'm joined by Ophelia and Myra. Ophelia is the branch manager at the Hillview Branch Library, and Myra is the branch manager at the Seven Trees Branch Library. And together, we will present an update on our adult literacy, ESL, and family learning centers programs. And I will hand over the presentation to Ophelia to begin.
Thank you.
Good evening, commissioners. I will be starting the presentation with an update on SJPL's adult literacy and ESL programs and services. In this first slide, we have a few pictures of some of our new beginner level ESL programs at Hillview, Seven Trees, and Educational Park branches. SJPL Adult Literacy and ESL offers English, reading, writing, and speaking programs and services to adults living or working in San Jose. In fiscal year 23-24, our literacy program specialists recruited and trained 126 tutors that provided a total of 10,055 and a half instructional hours to 243 adult learners in our program. This is over a 92% increase in instruction time in comparison to the previous year. Overall, our volunteers provided 9,650 and a half hours of dedicated learner-centered services and programs. During the fiscal year, 3 of our literacy program specialist leads for adult literacy and ESL continue to work diligently to develop and incorporate new processes, procedures, and training for additional staff to build capacity and expand services for adult basic education and ESL. Our team has clearly noted a significant need for more ESL services and has increased efforts to train tutors to lead small group, large group, and class instruction to reach more English learners in the city of San Jose. Next slide. In fiscal year 23-24, San Jose Public Library Adult Literacy and ESL has continued to provide both in-person and virtual programs and opportunities to provide access to learners and tutors and decrease barriers to participation. To support these efforts, literacy program staff have continued to check out Chromebooks, provide information about free public Wi-Fi resources at the branches and in neighborhoods, lead digital skill building, support instruction, and distribute devices to learners to keep as possible via generous donations coordinated by the San Jose Public Library Foundation. Adult Literacy ESL has developed and continued to offer a variety of small group classes, workshops, and programs for learners, including writing workshops, ESL programs for 0 beginner level learners to intermediate level English learners, language learners. The Let's Go to Broadway program that introduces learners to musicals, and they're going to be going to a trip soon to watch one. And Good News class to distribute recent events. These staff and volunteer-led programs provide learners with an opportunity to build confidence, connection in person or virtually with one another to learn and practice English speaking, writing, or reading skills in a safe and welcoming environment for learning. Adult literacy and ESL staff have also continued to offer virtual and in-person orientations, trainings in the evenings and weekends in an effort to connect and onboard more tutors to the program. Adult literacy and ESL has also continued to support partner ESL classes at Sacred Heart Community Services and provided an ESL instructor in the Catholic Charities Franklin McKinley Community Center in the Santee neighborhood as well. Right. In fiscal year 23-24, SJPL Adult Literacy and ESL continued to provide a variety of programs and services to learners in San Jose. About 58% of households in San Jose speak a language other than English at home. Literacy program specialists served a total of 152 learners via ESL and 91 learners via adult literacy programs and services. Literacy program specialists have continued to coordinate programs, distribute books, and encourage family literacy through the Together We Read program. Our family literacy services has reached a total of 66 families and 102 children and youth that have a parent or caretaker enrolled in our programs and services. Adult literacy and ESL staff have distributed over 2,251 books to children and families at local community events too. During fiscal year 24-25, SJPL Adult Literacy and ESL has continued to notice significant demand for ESL programs and services. Program staff continue to focus efforts to provide a variety of small group and large group ESL classes at branches to meet adult learner needs. Our program is currently serving 306 learners via 104 tutors, a 29% increase thus far from the previous fiscal year. We have also continued to offer the Leamos program at Allen Rock branch to assist Spanish speakers to develop reading and writing skills in their native language and in order to more effectively transition to ESL programs. We currently have 5 participants, and we recently received a wonderful update from one of our dedicated FLC coordinators, Catherine Poschel at Allen Rock branch, that I would like to share. One learner whom I would like to celebrate started the Leamos program with us in June of 2024. He worked very hard with LPS, Literacy Program Specialist Wendy Bateman, to learn his vowels. Wendy worked with him on writing his name, and I'm excited to share that he can now proudly sign his name at every session that he attends. And he's working on reading 2-syllable words now at this time. Since Wendy transitioned this learner to the tutor we onboarded and trained, he has continued to work with 2 very dedicated volunteers almost every Monday. SJPL also developed new beginner level ESL classes to meet the needs of non-English speakers and provide non-intimidating, safe, and welcoming spaces for learning. These tutor and staff-led programs have been offered at East Carnegie Branch, Educational Park, Hillview, Seven Trees, and virtually via Zoom. The adult literacy and ESL staff recently hosted an Earth Day celebration at the Hillview branch and distributed over 250 books to children and youth to build their home libraries. SJPL has also developed a new learner interest forum to connect learners to ESL and literacy programs at the library and other locations in the community as well. Lastly, Adult Literacy and ESL has officially begun the process to rebrand and merge the Adult Literacy and ESL staff and FLCs into one team to increase capacity and continue to effectively meet community needs. And now we will shift our next presentation to share some highlights and information about our family learning centers, also known as FLCs. The image on the slide shows students from Evergreen Valley College, an instructor and FLC Coordinator Marcela Guevara from the Educational Park Library. And my colleague Mayra will provide an update about our FLC. Good evening, Commissioners. The Family Learning Centers provide a range of programs and services to improve the quality of life for historically underserved and underrepresented communities. The 9 specialized centers for learning are located in areas with higher socioeconomic disparities in Central and East San Jose. Each of these FLC are staffed by a full-time coordinator who is there to provide support, coordinate programs, and develop partnerships. FLCs host in-person and online programs to increase access to community members, reduce barriers to participation in programs due to reasons such as limited transportation. Next slide. In fiscal year 23-24, the FLC served 29,873 clients through a combination of outreach and programs, including English classes, ELL Conversation Club, computer instruction, immigration and legal clinics, workshops for parents, group supports, and much more. This represents a continued upward trend in engagement with a 52% increase in program attendance compared to the previous fiscal year total of 19,600. In fiscal year 23-24, FLC hosted or implemented a diverse range of multilingual programs that met critical community needs. Our Digital Equity Tech Help program served 1,759 clients, highlighting the essential role libraries play in bridging the digital divide. This program provides vital one-on-one tech support and digital skill building opportunities, empowering the community members with the tools they need to navigate an increasingly digital world. Our English language learning program engaged 1,710 clients, reflecting the strong demand for language support services across our branches. The VITA Tax program provided free tax preparation services for low to moderate income taxpayers at Hillview, Seven Trees, Joyce Ellington, and Pearl Avenue branches. We saw a 94.2% increase in attendance, rising from 260 participants during fiscal year 22-23 to 505 participants during fiscal year 23-24, reflecting the growing community need and trust in this essential service. Achievements for FLCs in fiscal year 24-25 included the implementation of 106 digital skill building pathway programs, which serve a total of 468 participants. FLCs also led and implemented 269 citizenship classes and programs, reaching 1,377 participants. Through our continued partnership with Evergreen Valley College, FLC hosted 254 non-credit ESL classes that engaged 2,905 participants. FLC successfully expanded their small group ESL programs, now offered at East Branch, Tully, Seven Trees, Educational Park, and also Hillview, with the support of tutors and volunteers. FLC staff also continue to receive training in adult and ESL literacy to further strengthen these efforts. The upcoming fiscal year 25-26 work plan for adult literacy and ESL and the FLCs continues to provide gateways for adult learners to all the wonderful services and programs that the SJPL has to offer. Our literacy program specialists will continue to coordinate and provide ESL ELL programs for beginners and also intermediate level learners, technology enrichment programs and opportunities, also personal development and life skill programs, and community resource tablings and programs. In addition, literacy program specialists will continue to conduct assessments of the programs and develop quality improvement plans. We also anticipate accomplishing a complete rebranding and merging for adult literacy, ESL, and FLC programs and services. This concludes our presentation for an update about adult literacy and FLC. Please let us know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you so much for listening.
Wonderful. Again, before we open this up to our commission, is there any public comment on this item?
We do not have any public comments.
All right, floor is open for comments and questions from commissioners. We'll start with Commissioner McCreary, I'm sorry, Commissioner Abastida, then Commissioner McCreary, and then Commissioner. And then Commissioner. Sorry.
Chair. Hello, my name is Commissioner Abastida. I actually represent the east side. So just wanted to actually thank you for the ESL program. I am a product of this ESL project program, student version, but I see how it's the necessity of it. It's important not only for our community, but during these times, to have a welcoming space. That's what our community needs. So thank you for the work that you're doing. It's very important, and I'll be sure to definitely share this with all of our neighbors.
Thank you.
Commissioner McCreary.
Yes, I also want to echo what Commissioner Abastida said. I saw it from the tutors and teachers' perspective in the program. And these programs are really reaching the community need. It's so wonderful. I remember a student that I was working with who came into the program with very limited English skills, and his one goal was to get a job so that he could provide for his family, and he's still at that job to this day. This was 7-8 years ago, and every time we see each other, he says that program just changed my life. So you're reaching the community and you're changing lives.
Thank you. We're also working on getting some of the participants to come back and tutor and help others. So right now with our pre-ESL program we have at the Alum Rock branch, we have 2 volunteers that have participated in the program, and now they're tutoring learners to help them build that foundation in literacy and Spanish to be able to transition over to ESL. So we hope to continue to build on that more. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen, then Commissioner Brown.
I also want to thank you for encouraging and helping and offering these programs that are very much needed. But with the current administration's negative DEI policies, what impact do you see on your programs, if any?
We were worried about people being scared to sign up and continue their learning, but we always reassure them and we build connection, we build trust to explain to them that the library is going to guard their privacy to the best of their ability. And that we provide safe and welcoming spaces for them to attend and participate. And as they build that connection with us and trust, they continue to come back. So I think it's about building relationships so that they can learn and feel safe while they're doing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you both for coming and talking about this. I just wanted to dig a little deeper. A lot of increases, 94%, 125%. I hear that. I don't see like the volunteer numbers really matching that, which means there's more draw. And part of the rebranding, what is being done to retool in a way to meet the higher demand. And I heard a little bit about, one channel to get volunteers, or we take advantage of the fact that high school students in many districts are bilingual because they've been in these two-way bilingual programs, and if we're taking advantage of the growth in our community of people with multilingual, that is growing, and to just kind of entice them into the programs like this as well, just this. And then another question I have was on the way in, I was talking a little bit, just asking, like, what are we doing if we're working with someone and identifying that maybe there's a learning disability to work with too? What are we doing to assess that and help make sure that we're presenting with the right tools to support them? Thank you.
You're welcome. So in regards to your first question, we've shifted over to doing like small groups, having a tutor paired with a few learners or having the students participate in class learning, because then we're able to reach more people. And some of the tutors are comfortable with it. Some of them have to shadow a little bit before they're comfortable with doing so. But that's something that we've been trying to do. And right now with the restructure, the rebranding, it is taking time because we're training staff to lead this type of programming as well. But the hope is to have the staff, once they're all trained, to also do some outreach to help us recruit more tutors that reflect the community that we're serving as well. In regards to the second question that you asked, so we do have some learners right now in the program that do have disabilities. Our staff is not trained on how to serve them, but we can always look up resources to be able to connect them if needed. but we do serve some learners that do have some learning disabilities and special needs.
Excuse me, I am a lawyer and I am perfectly willing to help anybody who is harassed by ICE or any of the rest of our emperor's sidekicks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take it, Commissioner.
I'm not looking for.
I was gonna,
I'm trying to help people out.
Yeah, I was gonna also, Commissioner, in answer to your question, I think the earlier question. We have for many years actually had a waiting list of learners. And so I know part of the restructure is to really add capacity to be able to meet the needs of all the learners. But since this is a public conversation, I would be remiss without saying, like, please tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We welcome volunteers for these programs. It's an incredibly rewarding experience, as you heard from Commissioner McCrary, and it really does change lives. And so please, like, send out the word, ask us if you'd like information. We'd be happy to share with you all to do that. We're always looking for more volunteers, right?
And if I may add about the question that you asked about volunteers, most recently we decided to reach out to San Jose State, especially service learning courses. So we had a meeting last week with Professor Kristen Cole. So we'll be introducing San Jose State universities to the library as well, so they can be trained on how to do ESL in adult literacy to provide that support system. And also how can we do better when it comes to marketing our courses, even though there's a waiting list and we have a big interest in the community. We want to make sure that every volunteer has the tools to support the community that we serve. So we're really excited to work with Professor Cole on this.
Any questions or comments? I'll quickly add a quick thank you. And I was able to hear our state superintendent of public instruction talk about multilingualism and the power of that in terms of making sure folks are able to interact with each other, but also to be competitive in today's market and today's world. And he highlighted the importance that California will continue to lean into multilingualism, regardless of what's happening at the national level. And I really just wanted to highlight the things that I saw in here. Lots of service hours too, and volunteer hours. And I was just trying to do some math in my head. I'm like, if we even multiplied everything just by San Jose minimum wage, the amount of funds that would, I don't want to say saved because it's volunteer hours, but just want to highlight that amount of investment that goes into our community from our community. And the importance of continuing to fund our library because of the return of investment that we have in terms of community input and investment. So just wanted to highlight that. And we're not even to the volunteer service update presentation, which comes next, right? You've been hearing a lot about that and we haven't even got to that part. So any other questions or comments for this presentation? Thank you so much. Let's give it up to our wonderful presenters. As a reminder, folks, that was an informational item, so it does not require action. So we'll move on to another informational item, which is our volunteer service update.
All right, we welcome to the stage now our volunteer services lead, Robert Miranda, and Carolina Ramirez is in her debut at commission. Welcome to volunteer services unit.
Well, the moment you've all been waiting for, volunteer services.
Well, as Jackie said, I am Carolina. I'm the system-wide volunteer coordinator for the San Jose Public Library. And I'll let Robert introduce himself.
I am Robert Miranda. I am the manager of the volunteer services unit, and together we are the small and mighty team that gets to work with amazing volunteers like Youth Commission, like all of the programs that were just recently spoken about regarding ELL, and fabulous volunteers like Marvin McCrary that was actually volunteer of the year 2019. I just really wanted to embarrass you. And the other person I'm going to introduce is sitting down. They will get a little brief moment later. Okay.
Right, so the volunteer services unit plays a crucial role in supporting the library's mission and enhancing its services. The unit is responsible for recruiting, training, and managing the volunteers that provide and contribute their time and skills to the library programs and initiatives. In SJPL, the following value is highlighted in our mission and vision. Our volunteers, our employees and volunteers are valued as individuals and for their important contributions to the organization. An open exchange of ideas is encouraged throughout the system. We nurture our talents and each other.
That last statement right there is truly important because in our little unit, we have our own little motto that ties in with the nurture of the talents of each other. So we empower the people to power their community. That is the basis of what our volunteers want to do. So volunteering at SJPL is much more than lending a helping hand. It is a transformative experience that empowers individuals to create a direct and meaningful impact on their community by giving their time, energy, and skill set. Volunteers become the catalyst for positive change within San Jose, working together to build that stronger, more connected community. So with our library, volunteers contribute to the wide array of programs and services that serve the diverse needs across the city. From assisting with operational tasks, as seen here, to literacy initiatives and supporting educational workshops, volunteers help to bridge that gap in access to knowledge, resource, and opportunity. This empowers individuals and families, fostering a lifelong learning culture within San Jose and self-improvement within our library. For volunteers themselves, their service provides a unique opportunity to develop and share their skills, gain valuable experience, and connect with others through hands-on engagement with library programs. Volunteers build their confidence, expand their personal and professional networks, and build our community. Moreover, volunteers at SJPL create a ripple effect of empowerment. As volunteers inspire others to engage and invest in their community, they build a sense of collective responsibility and pride. Each act of service contributes to a shared mission, creating a thriving, inclusive environment where each community member has access to the tools they need to and be supported to succeed within San Jose and our library. So this information is pulled directly from the information we give volunteers during their orientation. How do you, as a volunteer, carry out the mission? So supporting literacy and education. Volunteers assist with reading programs for children, adult literacy, tutoring sessions, educational workshops, and help other library users of all ages develop their literacy skills and their love of learning. Providing tech assistance. So tech-savvy volunteers bridge that digital divide by offering one-on-one guidance on using computers, accessing our e-resources, and navigating the internet. This empowers community members with the essential digital skills they need to survive here within Silicon Valley. Facilitating programs and events. Volunteers help to organize and run a variety of programs, such as reading to children, a variety of interest clubs, and cultural events. These activities provide opportunities for learning, socializing, and cultural enrichment. Offering personalized assistance. Some volunteers provide that one-on-one support to library users, helping them find the information, the resources, and materials that meet that specific need. A little anecdote that I really like to share is we get so many people that come into the library where they may be living alone. They may not have that connection to anyone. We're that community. The volunteers are that conduit to a social life, which we think is often overlooked, but it's very important to understand that. We are the little town plaza that everyone gathers and talks about. Next, creating that welcoming environment. Volunteers contribute to a friendly and inclusive atmosphere, making the library a welcoming space for all community members. Their presence and support help library users feel comfortable and engaged. And lastly, promoting library services. As ambassadors for the library, volunteers spread awareness about the library's resources, programs, and services. The outreach helps ensure that more people in the community can benefit from what we at San Jose Public Library offer the community.
So what do we offer our volunteers? So we offer them our commitment to growing their skills through training and support. Obviously, a welcoming environment that helps them feel part of the team and the library family. Students and all volunteers can receive community service hours. And one of my favorite parts of what we offer our volunteers is the Volunteer University, which is a series of events that is specifically geared for volunteers, where they get to deepen their understanding about the library's programs and services. So as library insiders, we welcome our volunteers to take a peek behind the curtain and truly learn about what the library has to offer, as we know that, you know, they are ambassadors of the library.
So we're going to do an at-a-glance comparison from previous fiscal year to current. So the numbers shown reflect the comparison between the fiscal, like I said, which starts July 1st and June 30th. Seeing as we are 2 months shy of fiscal year end, we project our numbers increasing over the coming months because the summer learning program is upon us, which means we bring on a huge amount of volunteers. And we also have a spike in volunteers that help us offering programs all summer long. So you can see our current fiscal year, we're at roughly 1,500 volunteers as of right now. The volunteers are a little over 40,000, and you can see the previous year and how we're slowly inching our way to that. The overview of our program, again, let's take a look at our previous fiscal year. Total volunteers, 1,669, and 55,000 hours is what this group has contributed towards San Jose. Our program is divided into 3 groups: programmatic, friends, and library services. The programmatic volunteers offer the programs. They are the ones that are in front of the camera. Our friends are more behind the scenes. They are actually assisting with fundraising efforts. So one of the biggest ways that they give to the library is they host these events throughout all of San Jose Public Library in the form of a bookstore. They have a little bookshop. All the proceeds from that are funneled right back into the library and then back to the community. And lastly, library service hours. These are operational volunteers. They are the ones that do want to be behind the camera. They just want to help us with shelving, keeping the library welcoming, organized, tidy. Okay, so the overview of our in-person versus virtual hours, you can see right here, over 50,000 hours of in-person and roughly 3,500 virtual hours. The number of virtual hours has diminished as time has gone by because more people feel at ease to come back to the library and start once again resuming their normal activity of on-site volunteering. Breakdown of the age groups of our volunteers. So the bulk of our volunteers are teenagers. The big reason for that is San Jose has a methodology behind graduation. It requires these students to have some service hours. So because of that, we interact mainly with teens, typically when they were supposed to come to us 7 months ago, but instead they're coming at us today. And they need 500 hours by tomorrow. That is what we do. That is what we do. And there are ways for us to work with them. Earlier, there was a little conversation too about the bulk of the people we work with. Even though teens are on here, we get a good group of adults, age 55 plus, and 137 of the big picture. That is the smallest bunch for 18 to 54. They are typically the people that have the most going for them activity wise. They have a really thriving social life, and it's sometimes hard to put the family aside and come in volunteering, and we understand that. But we still have them come in. The age 55 plus definitely is the volunteer group that comes to us every summer because they have the means to do so, whereas the adults that are age 18 to 54 might be taking that summer abroad with their kids. But we get this huge pool of people that are coming to us. But this just breaks it down, just so you can get an at-a-glance glimpse of a little pie chart.
So the impact of our volunteer programs. Our volunteers are willing to do more for communities facing literacy challenges, whether language or digital. So as we can see here, we had about 2,500 people improve their English language skills at ELL conversation clubs. About 3,800 children had important literacy experiences through reading to children and reading buddies. And about 1,500 people received computer help through the Tech Mentor program.
So our library volunteer program has seen remarkable growth and improvement since last fiscal year. We welcomed the full-time volunteer coordinator right here, which has been a tremendous asset to when it comes to recruitment, retention, and recognition of our volunteers. Those are the 3 R's that are an asset in order to keep this program thriving. We want to make sure that we acknowledge their existence. We want to acknowledge everything that they've done by recognizing them. We need to retain the people that are here, and we need to constantly recruit. It is not one is more important than the other. They all happen simultaneously. And a lot of that is because of Carolina right here, who has been with us since August. Pivotal in connecting new volunteers, gathering stories from these volunteers, which we use as recruitment tools to help see yourself within San Jose Public Library. I love that person's story. That sounds a lot like me and my friend. We should be doing this. And that's how we get people coming in. This year, San Jose Public Library had 29 volunteers of the year. Each are chosen by their respective branch or unit. We highlight them on our website, we share their information to the council districts, and we host multiple recognition celebrations throughout San Jose Public Library and offer the volunteer universities that Carolina was talking about as well. Thanks to the enthusiasm and dedication of our volunteers, we've noticed the increased engagement, stronger community connections, and more streamlined onboarding process, making it easier for the volunteers to integrate to their role. With that, there's been an update to our live scan process. In January, we implemented something new where volunteers can now go and select any location within, a 5-mile radius of their home and get fingerprinted. That is different from what we used to have. Before, we would have to funnel everyone through City Hall. And there was a moment there where we would kind of lose that momentum. I would interview you on Monday and you may not actually get interviewed until 2 weeks later. And then we had to wait for that information to make its way to Sacramento and then back. Now we get the wonderful, exhilarating moment where we can have people cleared in 1 day. So it moves so fast that we're going to start offering our volunteers neck braces. How quick things are moving. So this update to the live scan process has really helped us bring on more people, more enthusiastic people, because there isn't that lull. The program's expansion has allowed us to offer more diverse opportunities, ensuring that volunteers can apply their unique skills in meaningful ways. We do this through service groups. We receive a lot of interest from the IDD community, intellectual development disability community, who want to come into San Jose Public Library as a workforce development site. How can I, as a liaison, bring my group of 1 to 5 adult learners and help them get placed in a career, in a job someplace? What can we do? And that's our job. Let's find an entry-level position and kind of build your skill set as a volunteer that you can utilize this skill set. Put it down on a piece of paper. We actually provide them with a job description. Every single one of our volunteer roles have a description for that. They can take that with them and we encourage them, put this onto your resume. They may not have a resume. Fantastic. Come to the King Library, go to SJPL Works. They will help you. They will get you going. But we are just, it's little tiny seedlings that we're starting with to kind of develop that skill set. Additionally, our enhanced training and support systems have led to greater confidence and efficiency amongst our volunteers, ultimately improving the overall experience for both them and the patrons that they assist. The positive experience of these improvements is evident in the vibrant and welcoming atmosphere our volunteers help create every day. A truly powerful way our volunteers make a difference in multiple ways is through our Volunteer Where You're Fine program, where a volunteer can use their time within our program as a means of gaining access to their library account. No one wants to get a library fine. It's just the way of the world. It occurs, but that's okay. We remove the stigma. Come in, give back to your community. 1 hour equals $20 off of your account. And it's just the feel-good program of the year. Tell all your friends. It is a wonderful moment. The sweet anecdotes I have is seeing a moment where a mother actually came to me and let me know this makes a difference for us financially. We have the extra fund money to get ice cream because we could do something like this. That was never really the means for this. It was just making sure people had access, but it has a huge ripple effect on how it actually helps people in financially unstable times. We recently had our service day. I shouldn't say recently, actually, we had it in February, but we had this in honor of Library Lovers Month. So everyone comes into the library. This program was hosted at every one of our 25 locations. $300 were waived by the 114 participants that took part in this program. It is a fantastic opportunity to get volunteers of all ages, including newborns that don't normally get to volunteer. And I know that sounds silly to think a newborn is volunteering, but think of that family that comes into the library to volunteer because they have fines. It is a hassle to have to leave the house with one child, let alone a whole family. So we are giving that family the opportunity to kind of exhibit civic responsibility to their whole family. So bring the whole family, and for every hour that this family of 3 is here, that's right there. That's $75 for your small family. A family of 4, that adds up. That's this much. It makes a huge difference in a family when they participate in any one of our volunteer Where You're Fine events. Like I said, this happens annually in February, but it also happens every month, sprinkled throughout San Jose Public Library.
So the San Jose Public Library provides a variety of volunteer opportunities that we cater to different interests and skills. And some of our popular volunteer opportunities include Teens Reach for our teenagers, homework club coach, story time assistant, book reviewer. Yeah, these are our top popular volunteer opportunities, but we have many, many that we offer.
And this is just a sample menu. Truly, the list is very, very robust and too much for one slide. Friends of the library. So for this, I will turn it over to Jean.
My name is Jean Harris. I'm one of our division managers. I oversee the North branches and our collection development unit. So Robert mentioned the Friends of the Library already. The Friends are independent groups of volunteers, and they raise money for our library programs. So they do work in our branches. And so you saw some of the volunteer numbers on an earlier slide, including Friends volunteers. And the work they do is they receive the donated items that people bring to our branches. They receive those and sort them, and they sell them. And so you'll see, Robert, where was the photo? You told me, I forgot.
This photo was actually taken by our lovely photographer, Carolina Ramirez, right over there.
Which branch?
I remember, I want to say it was Berryessa branch.
my
It's a volunteer recognition event.
So here's a couple of our friends at the library, and they're sorting books. So the work that they do generally is they sort books or whatever the materials are that are donated, and then they sell them either in the book nooks, which are in each of our branches, or at larger book sales at the branches. They also advocate for the library and collaborate with the San Jose Public Library Foundation. Currently, we have 21 branch friends groups, and that includes our newest friends group, which is at the Hillview branch. And Ophelia is right over there. Shout out to Ophelia and her great friends group. So here's a sampling of some of the programs that Friends have funded throughout the system in the past year. Photo here is from the Nowruz celebration, which is the Persian New Year. This is a dance group that performed there that was at the Almaden branch, which was co-funded by the Almaden and West Valley branches. Their friends groups collaborated to fund those programs. I listed a few others here, and many of the friends groups also support branches that don't have friends groups. So they'll provide funds to support programming at, say like, let's see, right now Alviso doesn't have any friends. So, I mean, they have lots of friends, but they don't have the Friends of the Library group. And same with the Biblioteca Latinoamericana. So some of the other branches that have friends groups that have more funding at the moment.
Attention, please exit the building at this time. There are no extended study hours for SJSU Sparks. Everyone must exit the building. Again, the library is now closed. Have a safe evening.
So some of those groups do support the branches that don't have as much funding there. And in the past year, we've also had some 20th anniversary celebrations, and the friends groups have helped support those. Those in the past year were Violin, Tully, and Berryessa. And this summer, we'll also be having the Allen Rock Library's 20th anniversary, which the friends are helping to fund as well. This is a couple of our friends at the Tully branch. So let me shout out to them. And we also have a group that's called the All Friends of the San Jose Libraries. And so that's a sort of loose confederation, maybe you could say, of friends from branches throughout the city. And so they get together and share kind of best practices and information about what their groups are doing. They'll also share like donations. If a branch got a bunch of Japanese books and Japanese is not selling, they'll give it to a branch that can sell those. So they also work closely with the Library Foundation's advocacy group and hopefully some of you as well. And the All Friends meets quarterly or so. So in the future, kind of looking forward, we anticipate continuing support from All Friends, but also friends throughout the city and continuing to support programming across the city as well. That's it for me.
So volunteer feedback survey.
So in July, we serviced all our accepted volunteers, and for the fiscal year 23-24, we had 248 total responses. And so the breakdown of the survey included 5 volunteer experience questions. 8 questions were about their satisfaction, and 3 were free answer questions, and 3 demographic questions. And here's a little bit of what we got to see from their responses. So 92% would recommend SJPL as a place to volunteer. 96% feel comfortable approaching a staff member when they have a question, and 96% felt prepared for their volunteer role. And of course, we wanted to highlight some of our favorite quotes from our volunteers. And this is Chris. He is a new volunteer with us. And I know it's a long quote, but I wanted to highlight my takeaway. And he talks about the experience has already been incredibly rewarding. Everyone has been so welcoming and supportive, which has really made me feel part of the team. And now, Anne talked about the peaceful environment and the friendly staff, which, you know, always welcomed her back. And she is a returning volunteer.
The big takeaway from this is every time we ask our volunteers for just a short quote, they give us a monologue. They give us, you know, a beautiful statement about their experience. And that's a testament to the work that's done by all the staff at San Jose Public Library, because that is part of their family, those relations. They are the ones that are corresponding with volunteers on a day-to-day basis. We are part of that. We're part of the tools to get this program going, but it is a huge group of people at every single one of our locations to make sure that people like Chris and Anne continue to thrive in their volunteer role, and like Anne, want to come back even after that book kind of, you know, the book closed for Anne, but she decided, I want to open it back up. I want to go back to my home library and volunteer a little bit more. With that, that's it. Thank you very much.
Let's go to the consent items. Do we have any public comment before we open this up for commissioners?
We do not.
The floor is open for the commission. Questions and comments. How do my kids become book reviewers?
Easy. sjpl.org/volunteer. Make sure they're the ones driving the car and not you, their parent. That's our way of making sure that teens are actually wanting to do the volunteer activity.
They're
They're
little.
little, yeah.
Oh, they're little.
Yeah, they're 6. They're phenomenal book readers.
I thought they were 6. I thought they were teens. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm lying to you. No. They can
I was like, I
participate.
don't know if it'd be good for them to be
No.
driving.
I think, well, to some degree, they can write a review on our webpage. They just can't mark it down that they're volunteering. Because a book reviewer could be anybody who has a library card. You have access to our Biblio catalog, which is actually through BiblioCommons. You go ahead, read Charlotte's Web, and you are empowered to say, you know, why is, you know, Wilbur, you know, doing XYZ? You can write that. So your kids can, in theory, do that. They just can't get volunteer credit for it.
And then real quick, do we partner with, and I run into this in my day job, do we work with tech companies to do
Yes, we do.
volunteer hours and that sort of?
100%. Actually, right now, Caroline and I are getting everything ready for Cisco tomorrow. So we do a lot of partnerships. So tomorrow, We will be driving to 2 different locations and giving Cisco employees the opportunity to do 2 different projects, very, very different. The first project is they will be creating costumes that will be used behind the scenes during a children's story time. And unbeknownst to them, the librarian will read the story of the 3 Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood, and the Cisco employees will actually act it out for all the students. But we keep that as a secret because we don't want to get them, butterflies in the stomach. And then the next opportunity, in the evening hours, they're going to be, or afternoon, I should say, they're going to be working on an installation at Educational Park on careers in technology. So we guide them through that and we give them the opportunity for them to use this almost like a staff retreat. So we want to connect. We have new employees. Let's sit us down and have someone else kind of take the wheel. So yes, we do that a lot.
And the last question, do we have like any, because I'm doing this in my job too, just around specific like discounts for folks that participate in our program? Like I'm trying to work with a coffee shop to say, if like super volunteer, you've done, I'm making stuff up, 25 hours, you get a discount at
So-and-so place.
Chroma.
For every volunteer, they get to check out books completely free. They have no library fines, and we hope to keep it that way for our volunteers. Other than that, the perks are really bragging rights that you are doing something great to build a stronger San Jose.
Any other Commissioner Brown, want to get the mic over you?
And they get to add to their resume, right? I love that you brought that up because there's such a discussion. I mean, I've teens in college and graduating and okay, what are you gonna do? And I don't know yet, and not really building a resume. And I love that the opportunity can begin putting those seeds onto that resume and showing someone that you will show up, you will do the job, and then having the descriptions. I just love that you're helping to set up your volunteers for ongoing success. And I think it's a great way to keep them coming back and interested too. So thank you. I love what we heard tonight. Thank you.
We also do that, and it's something that we really didn't cover on, but we get a lot of adults that come to us for court-ordered hours. And that is a niche little group, something happened and they had to do 20 hours. If they come to us, they can do these hours, and they end up being the ones that actually have the greatest reaction to this. I thought I was going to be treated, like a criminal for coming in and volunteering. No, you are willing to give back to your community. And they're just so appreciative of this. And that's what's kind of fantastic that we can do this.
Really quickly, I did the quick math with hours times $20 an hour, so give us a point, and it's over $800,000 just in volunteer hours. Don't quote me on my stuff.
It's actually higher.
See?
So the volunteer hour is $33.48.
So yeah, so using the independent sector's estimate for the value for volunteers, it's actually 33.49. So that is,
And if you do all the.
if you do all
hours
the
that-
calculations, that's 1.8 million. Big deal.
For the record.
Thank you again.
Okay, let's give it up for our presenters. Folks, that was an informational item, so it did not require action. We're gonna move on to our next item, also our submission of topics for our fiscal year 25-26 growth plan.
All right, so it is that time of the year again, to start prepping for our next commission year for 25-26. So on the screen is our draft work plan for the next commission year. So basically everything is really straightforward. I do want to highlight that we are proposing to move the joint Youth Commission and Library and Education Commission meeting to October versus having it in March. That is because Youth Commission is easier for them to do it in October. Typically in the March, they're in the swing of things. They have their items that they're reporting on, and it kind of leaves them a gap. So we're proposing moving that to October. And then since this year we did it on a Library and Education Commission Day, next year we're going to do it on a Youth Commission Day. So that will be Monday, October 27th, 2025. And it's going to be the Education Strategy Annual Report And then we are hoping to get a follow-up update from the Margaret Sullivan Studios group that came to the last joint meeting. Some new topics this year is in November, we will be getting a program spotlight on the Disability Access Committee. Another new one is in March, we will be getting a presentation for the Learning and Development Personnel Services. And then in May, we will be getting a library bond review, which we usually get, but it'll be more focused on the biblioteca and the work that is being done at that branch. And yeah, so this is our draft work plan for 25-26. And just wanted to check in with you guys to see if there's any additional items that you guys would like to see reported on or any other topics.
We'll hold for time for folks again. I know everyone looked at this before they came and prepared. If folks have to look at it, just in case. While folks are processing this, any comments, questions on the side? Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. When I was looking at this, I had taken a survey of that was sent out to all of us to kind of, and I looked at that long list of all the libraries, and I'm like, I feel like I've hardly gotten around to see all of them. Is the I'm cut out here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. Is the rotation here such that we are getting around to different libraries year to year? Are we, I mean, obviously we're here every other month. That's gonna happen, but are we making sure that rotation keeps going?
Yeah.
I feel like a few of these I've been to and I'm like.
Yes, so since I've taken over the LEC Commission as secretary, we have gone through all of the branches. We are returning back to basically the beginning. So Joyce, Ellington, Tully, Vineland, and Village Square. Those are the last ones we have not had a meeting at. Hillview, it was different because that was our first joint meeting. So we technically didn't use like the community room. But yeah, we have visited all of the branches within the system. You might not see, we haven't visited Almaden. We haven't visited Alviso because they're so far out. And so we don't want, kind of ways out there. And then we also didn't do Carnegie because their community room only seats 50 people. So it wouldn't fit, the entire commission, the public, technology, and those items. So those are the three branches that we don't visit as a commission.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments from the commission in terms of items to add?
I have just one question. Before COVID, I spent 10 years in a program called Reading Partners, which involved tutoring first through about fourth graders in all the Title I schools in San Jose, and there's not one I can think of that I wasn't at one time or another. And that program crashed when COVID came along. It was gone. And I maybe wasn't listening. But is the library filling in that kind of a situation with the, like Title I schools with kids that need one-on-one tutoring? I mean, I did it for 10 years. I'd like to do it again, but can't do it with Reading Partners. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Commissioner, for the question. We do have Reading Buddies program and other volunteer opportunities to work both individually with children and in story time settings. And so I know that Robert and the volunteer team would be happy to chat about that, and also our early education team. We could also, I was just looking at the work plan here, we do have an education annual report coming in October, which we'll make sure to highlight any of those programs as well.
Other questions?
And just to let you guys know, some of our newer topics have come from topics that you guys have proposed in previous meetings. So just to let you know, we looked at that as well. So yeah.
Any other final comments or questions?
No, just.
Yeah,
Oh.
great job. This is a wonderful plan. Shows how busy we are as a commission and just honestly the phenomenal work that our library system does within the city.
And there's one last thing. So basically the ones in bold, those are the ones that are actually action items, and there will be a written report along with it. The ones that are in red, they are action items, but there's no written report with those. So if you're wondering, what are we voting on or things like that, those are the ones that require commission's input and vote.
Awesome. Wonderful. This is an informational item, so it does not require. So we'll move on to our next item, which is council liaisons announcement.
Thank you so much. I was delighted to see the Youth Commission giving their report. They're actually going to have their civic engagement event on Saturday, and I will be there. So I love that they really reach out and do as much as possible to engage and get others engaged. In terms of my report, we're right so thick into the budget. It is everything budget until June 10th when it comes to city council. So we've gone through the process of looking at all the different departments. We've gone through budget study sessions. We've had several of those. And so we will continue to modify the funding. I mean, we started out with a 60 million deficit. We went down to 45. Now we're much lower than that. And depending on whether or not the sales tax comes in for this quarter, a little bit better, it's looking better, but there are other forces out there federal level that impact some of the work that we do. And so we're also thinking about, well, what are the things that we may have to either postpone or, we have to come up with a plan B, maybe even plan C in terms of those vulnerable funds. And a lot of them are grant funds that came through the federal government and now are in question, or the requirements have been so onerous that it's been really, really difficult. So given the whole scene, there is, like you all know, a lot of uncertainty. So stay tuned for June 10th. The other thing I wanted to let the commission know is that twice a year, the city council goes through their commissions and they make appointments and all that. And I am delighted that hopefully it'll come to the city council and I will have a D1 representative for the Library and Education Commission coming up in the next cycle. And she is phenomenal. She was a 10-year Parks Commissioner, was a chair of the Parks Commissioner, and but she's also a retired teacher. And so she just recently retired. She says, give me a year. I need a year. I need a break. And I said, okay, but it's your time. Come on. So she's hopefully going to be approved by the council and will be part of this awesome committee. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now move on to my announcements. For folks, as a reminder for our next meeting, we will be voting on 2 key things in addition to other items. We will be voting on the plan that we just looked at, as well as chair and vice chair for our upcoming year. So I just want to remind folks of that. And just want to give folks a shout out from the staff. I was at back to school night at Trace Elementary a couple of weeks ago, and sure enough, there is a SJPL table set up there, talking to families, getting folks to sign up for library cards, handing out stickers, and was really engaging. Went over, introduced myself, said thanks. And so I just wanted to say thank you all, because we see you all at schools, we see you at Viva Calle in the community. Also, shout out for social media about not forgetting your library card in Spanish. Whoever did that was phenomenal. I got shout outs from my family because I shared that out. But just wanted to say thank you to our staff for everything that you're doing with all the challenging things that are happening and coming to us from the federal level. It's just a great reminder of how phenomenal our city is, how phenomenal our city staff is, especially our library staff. So that's all I got. I will turn it over to our library director.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. As you heard from our council member, I actually had the great honor on Monday, May 12th of representing the neighborhood services budget at the budget study session. So I got to present on the library, but also the other neighborhood services departments, parks, recreation, neighborhood services. There's a section of code enforcement that's part of our, what's called our city service area, our CSA, as well as animal care and services and homelessness. So it's a really, big area of important work. And I think it went pretty well. And I'm happy to say that as we're moving forward, there are no proposed reductions to library hours. Yay, thank you for all your advocacy. And it was actually stated several times at the dais by our council member and her colleagues. Just want to make sure everyone knows, no cuts to library hours. So I really think that your message got through. We are currently working with our city manager's office on what's called a manager's budget addenda to address the fact that last year we had a one-time waiver of late fees for adults. And so I believe the manager's intent this year is to make that permanent. So again, thanks to the commission for your leadership and advocacy. Once upon a time, we had late fines for everyone, and now we will have them for no one. So thank you for that. Yay. Okay, and to continue to help shape the future of libraries, as you heard from Commissioner Brown, you all should have received the sjpl.org/survey, which is a survey related to the facilities and customer experience plan that we have undertaken. And we'd like to get as many people as possible to take this online survey. So please, again, feel free to send it out to your friends and make sure to contribute to that as we're collecting through that as kind of a first step. There will be other public engagement activities at Viva Calle coming up and other locations around the city to really get the community engaged in the future vision for our library. Let's see what's in the three. Also, summer learning kicks off on June 1st. And as you all probably know, it goes from June 1st through July 31st with lots of fun prizes for reading over the summer. You'll have the opportunity for events like petting zoos, magic shows, digital discovery workshops, and more. Of course, you can go to sjpl.org/summer. Part of our summer learning every year is our annual graphic novel making contest, which if you haven't participated is actually surprisingly exciting and gets so many young artists and writers engaged during the summer. And then we'll have a huge special award ceremony on Saturday, September 13th. So you can mark your calendars now. Again, that's part of our summer learning. And then lastly, we have a really exciting story time coming up with our Bay FC Women's Professional Soccer franchise representing the Bay Area in the National Women's Soccer League. And last year, we had a standing room only out the door, into the plaza, into the street. And the players stayed forever to sign every kid's jersey and soccer ball. And it was a really wonderful community event. So this one will be at Bascom Branch on Wednesday, June 11th from 5:30 to 6:30. Families will get to meet the players, listen to a special story time with music and movement, and receive giveaways. And that concludes my update.
Thank you. Sorry, I was putting the Bay FC event into my calendar. We love us some Bay FC soccer. Any questions for Library Director? Moving on to our next item, comments and announcements. Any announcements and meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners? We'll then move on to San Jose Public Library Foundation Board. Do we have a report? All right, then we'll move on to the next item, which is information and upcoming opportunities for commission participation. As a reminder, you can see our full SJPL program calendar at sjpl.org. We'll go on to our next item, item 11, which is items for future commission meeting agendas, which we kind of already did, but I'll leave the floor open for folks. All right. As a reminder, folks, our next meeting will be taking place on Wednesday, June 18th at Cambrian Library Branch. Our time, the 18th at Cambrian Library Branch. With that, we will adjourn at 8:25 p.m. Go in peace, y'all. Drive safe, and thank you for your service.